Welcome to F Word. The first episode, and what it is I need to explain the title. So, I got the title for this little show from my Italian cinema teacher, and he basically, he was telling a story, I can't remember what the story was, and he basically said, instead of the F word, he went, F word. So I felt like it was fitting because it was, we're talking about film. That's the F word. It isn't fuck. It's film. F word. I thought the first episode, I would just do quick reviews, like quick thoughts on like a few films. So I wanted to start with Don't Let Go, which is if I had to put it in a category, I guess it's like, it has elements of, I guess, action, but also like it's like sci-fi-esque. Let's just read. This is why we have. Is it recording? Okay, we're recording. So basically, let's just read the synopsis so everybody, or the premise. Detective Jack Radcliffe gets a shocking phone call from his recently murdered niece Ashley. Working together, I can't even speak. Working together across time, they race to solve the crime before it can happen. So basically, sorry if the light is kind of going bright in and out. Basically, this movie has like time travel properties, but you don't really know, you never learn why or how really, because they only can communicate via the telephone. So I have my legal pad of like thoughts that I wrote about this film. I give it originality points. It's an original film. When I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, this looks interesting. So I was like, I would give this a try. I think the best part of this movie was the setup. And then after that, it just got bad. I think the lead actor, what's his name? David, I'm going to butcher his last name, I'm sorry. Oyelowo? I probably butchered his last name, so sorry. People butcher my last name all the time, it's fine. He's great. I think the lead actor's great. I didn't always like the character of his niece Ashley because she was, at times, like, she would be hiding from criminals, and then she'd be, like, she's, like, let's say, like, some guy's beating up her dad, like, feet away, and she's, like, on the phone, and she's, like, on her phone with her uncle, which is Jack, who's a police officer, right? A detective, sorry. More specifically, a detective. And I'm like, why aren't you escaping? You need to be getting out of that area, not, like, on the phone. Like, they're gonna hear you and find you. Like, work on escaping, then call your uncle and say, this went down. So basically, they like, whenever, so she's, like, in the past, and he's in the future, so when they talk to each other, she's still alive, obviously, and they're, like, days apart. I can't remember how many days. It's like anywhere between, like, a few to, like, 5 days, maybe, and so they have to work together to, like, make sure that she doesn't get murdered. But they have to, it's like mystery meets sci-fi meets action. Well, not action, not a lot of action, but it's all those things. And there was just too many phone calls. Like, I felt I was ODing on phone call scenes. I don't want to see the same beat or the same, sorry, it's a big ass truck. I don't want want to hear a truck. I don't want to have the same storytelling mechanism. Like, so many phone calls. It's like you could literally call this phone call the movie, or phone calls, talking on the phone in the movie. It was too many. Like I said before, I kind of touched on the reason for the time travel wasn't even revealed. It was like, why is this happening to Jack? Because other people get murdered in life. Like, can other people, save dead loved ones using their cell phones? I don't understand. The film felt too long at times. Like, how many times are we gonna go through, like, I'm gonna try and save you, and then she dies, and then da-da-da-da. I wrote down, they didn't explain how the guy who was the killer got the wet backpack, which is the niece's backpack. Or maybe they did, and I just didn't care enough to pay attention. I probably wasn't paying attention, but somehow he had her wet backpack, which he was, like, nowhere to be found, so I don't know how he got it when she lost her backpack in, like, a river or something. It wasn't good, and it just, I don't want to see phone calls for 2 hours, and it just felt really too long, and I would never watch it again. I wasn't invested enough. After a while, you're kind of just like, okay. Another one, now this is a film I actually liked. It's Ready or Not, which is a horror. It's like a horror kind of, like, but has dark comedy, and I like the aesthetic of this. It's like a modern day Clue, but with, like, a demented sense of humor. It was a lot of fun. I liked it more than I thought I would, judging by, I didn't know. I mean, I knew watching the trailer would be something I would like to watch one day, but I didn't know I would like it this much. I thought it was hilarious. It's not just a full-on horror. It's like more of a gory, dark comedy. And I like that it's not meant to be taken seriously. I think the lead actress was great. I think her name's, I'm gonna say her name wrong. It's like Samara. Oh my gosh, what's her name? Samara. What's her name? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna butcher. What's her last name? The lead actress, Samara Weaving. Sorry, I'm thinking of another actress. Samara Weaving was great. I think if she wasn't cast as the lead, the movie would have been terrible, because, the movie just would have sucked, because I think you can't have she wasn't, like, over the top, like, with, oh my gosh, I'm scared and I'm running away, da-da-da. But she was just awesome, and she was funny. It's one of those films, like, if you don't get the protagonist casted correctly, it's like it makes the whole difference of, like, a really good movie and really fun versus, like, really cheesy and horrible. Like, if they went with somebody else, I don't think this movie would have, like, obviously the protagonist is, important. You have to get it right, like, the casting right. But it's one of those movies where it's like, this is like a demented, like, old-fashioned kind of, like, like, the premise is kind of like an old-fashioned, like, oh, we have to kill somebody, and a sacrifice, and we'll play a game, and you don't have the good main character, in this horror, like, gory, dark comedy, it would have been, like, if she overdid it, it would have been terrible. Like, like, all she did was scream. I really liked the character. It wasn't too over the top. She was badass and funny. There's great jokes. Like, there's one, I'm not gonna give them all away, so you can see it for yourself and laugh. Obviously, I've been, like, dropping spoilers in this show, but I still think it's It's got great jokes in it. Like there's a couple that I'm thinking of now that are just like that's freaking good. Now this one is kind of, it came out, this is probably the oldest one of the list. It's Rocketman. I think this is what all biopics should be, and let me explain. The cinematic style itself fits with the person they're telling the story about. And that's great. I think, the fact that this movie had fantastical elements. It was, now this movie wasn't advertised as a musical biopic, where there was like full-on musical numbers and people would just be singing about, it wasn't advertised like a jukebox musical biopic, which is all the songs of Elton John, obviously. And we knew it would have music, but we didn't know it would be a musical. So it was a nice surprise walking, going into this movie and not expecting like him to be singing about like his childhood, and then it goes into like his childhood, and then it tells the story of his life. I think the structure is great of this movie, and this, like I said, the cinematic style is very much felt like Elton John. It was the style needed to tell an Elton John story, and he's very fantastical, and it's very like all these colors and great costumes, and just that's what biopics should do. They should take into account the person they're telling the story about. Like, if you're going to tell a story about Judy Garland, I think the style should fit Judy Garland. I think if you're going to be telling a story about Marilyn Monroe, it should fit Marilyn Monroe, or name whatever actor or famous person or great person in history. I think if you're telling a biopic, it should definitely fit the person. Like, it should feel like the style itself should feel like, oh, this is Elton John, or oh, this is Marilyn Monroe. That's just my 2 cents. Like I said, the structure's really good. Elton telling his story in rehab, like he basically just begins, he walks in, he's in like this orange like devil costume, and he's got these wings that just come out, and Taron Egerton just comes in, as Elton John, obviously, and he's just like, why are you here? And he's like, oh, I'm a drug addict, I'm alcoholic, sex addict, and I think he says, I have anger management issues, and they say, what were you like as a child? And he starts singing The Bitch Is Back, and I was like, that's great, and it kind of just goes into from color to black and white, and it goes into his childhood. It's great. It's like a great number. I think Taron needs to be nominated for an Oscar because he did so good. Like, his performance, he's probably, so far this is the performance of the year. Not that other people have done terribly. I think he's done a great job, and I loved it. He sang everything himself, which and it didn't ruin anything. It didn't ruin the songs, and I think it's interesting to take an iconic singer with an iconic voice, like that's very recognizable, and say, okay, you're not going to lip sync, you're going to actually sing the songs. That's a great move. It's like, sorry, I keep like itching, I don't know why. It's itchy. That's a great idea, because it feels more authentic that way when someone's like not trying to exactly be or sound like them, but still captures the essence and also doesn't ruin the songs. Renee Zellweger is singing, Judy Garland's song. She sang Over the Rainbow. I heard the track, and it sounds good to me. She really held her own, and I was like, I'm so looking forward to this movie. And I love Judy Garland. Judy Garland's one of my favorite famous people, celebrities. I wrote, like, it's just great when an iconic singer, that you sing the song as an iconic singer with an iconic voice in a movie and you pull it off. And that's what he did. I thought it was visually stunning. I love the use of songs to tell the story. That's not that's not easy to like take a person's life story or a story, take already existing songs and to like form a story with that, with jukebox, like they did that with Mamma Mia, whatever, and they did that with a bunch of other music, people's music and bands' music, and it's not easy to be like, oh, like let's take all these songs, and he has quite the discography. He has like a bunch of songs. He probably has easily like 100 songs, and to tell a story, to form a story with that's amazing. Not that they use all those songs, but they use a good amount of them. The entire cast kills it. It's a great cast. Bryce Dallas Howard, she fully transforms into his evil mom, Sheila. It's hard to recognize her at first because she's not, everyone knows Bryce Dallas Howard's a redhead. With the hair, the makeup, and her accent, and just the performance, you're like, that's not Bryce Dallas Howard. Like, she disappears into this role, and if you met her on the street, you probably would never have guessed, like, oh yeah, like that was Bryce Dallas Howard, because Bryce Dallas Howard's like so sweet. I don't know her personally, but like she's so nice and like kind and bubbly. So it's great when actors play somebody, that just means they're a good actor when they're playing someone like exact opposite of them. But she just transformed. Everybody did well. Richard Madden is great, and Jamie Bell, I think is his name, plays Bernie. Everybody just wow. So those are my quickies. The quickie reviews, the quick reviews. I just call them quickies because they're just like, they're not that quick, but they're not like a full on like video worth where I just go break down like, okay, everything that was great, everything that was horrible. So yeah, that was the first episode of F Word, and I'll see you guys in a different episode of F Word, in the next episode of F Word. Okay, bye.